Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to AskGolfNut channel and welcome to PXG 0317CB. They're one stop away from the ST, which is their blade, but I've literally just done the 317T, their player's distance iron, which is a really very good iron. The interesting thing with the CB is no technology within reason. All of the technology we had in the T has gone. This is basically just an 8620 forged body with, as you can see, the back has been milled out to give yourself a nice CB, cavity back. So this is designed to blend seamlessly with the people that want blades, but when it goes to the longer irons, and especially even in the blades, they don't actually make the blades in the very long irons. You have to then progress into a CB. That's what they're designed to do. But you can get a full set of CBs if you wish. The main thing it's got, what I like out of the whole thing, is that little black weight at the back there. That round weight is there for custom fitting, so you can change that weight to change the swing weight. In a world where swing weight is very much so misunderstood and not understood enough by a lot of people, swing weight is massive. Can make a huge difference to amateur golfers and really good golfers alike. It enables you to feel where the head is in 3D space, and that enables you to control face better and stuff like that. So it's important. And the fact that PXG can have that changing within a custom fit is brilliant. Most manufacturers can change that when it comes to custom build, but they cannot change it within the custom fitting itself. We are at the same hole that we did the 317T. As you can see, we've got water and rocks and it's a forced carry. This one is 1 degree weaker than that of the 32 degree T. So this being 33, exactly the same as the ST. Again, this is designed to blend. Top line is thinner than that of the T, but actually if you put your finger and thumb either side of it, it's actually quite a decently thick top line. It's just that you cannot see it, especially down by the golf ball, because it is very heavily chamfered and curved. It just looks really quite small, but it actually isn't. Sole thickness is getting thinner now. It's not quite the same as the blade, within reason very close to that of the normal T. PXG has changed an awful lot over the years. It did look, I wouldn't say ugly, but many moons ago when it first came out with that golf club with all those scrub screws and stuff around, yeah, I wasn't a fan. Let's go give it a hit, because interesting enough, when it comes to custom fit that I did for the media samples that I've got, I didn't get on with this one for some reason. I don't know why. But as you can see, normal service has resumed. Just really very good. You can tell it's fully forged. Club path 1 from the inside, face 1.1 close, little baby draw dynamics, 1 mil high, 0 mil heel. Really very good strike. 38 yards in the air and 50 degrees descent angle. 166. Feels lovely, it really does. Now, I have done the whole series from biggest to smallest. I've done the Black Ops first, which is their cast, super helpful, super launchy, super distant, super everything. And of course, as you go through the XP, the P, the T, and now the CB, they're progressively getting a bit smaller, less tech inside, a little bit more, shall we say, nicer feeling, especially if you're someone who likes the duller, quieter impact sound. If you're someone who likes a little bit more of a confidence-inspiring pop, then stay that into the bag. This one, very much so softer. Now, a lot of people will absolutely, completely, utterly forget and ignore this side of the range, the 317s, they'll just ignore, they'll just go straight to the 311s. You shouldn't, really you shouldn't. Now, I'm gonna be hitting this all over the face to get an understanding how forgiving this is. I've hit this already, and I can tell you this is a ridiculously forgiving head, and it is the CB. But we'll do all that one afterwards. We'll get all the heat maps done so you can see where it's forgiving and where it's not, and also test it at 70, 80, and 90 miles an hour to see what happens when you start taking some speed away. Let's go give it another hit, because that first one felt lovely. And I can't really complain with that one. Maybe 2 mil high in the face. Maybe slightly toey, but you take that one. 4 mil toe, 0 mil high. No, just fractionally toey, but again, I can't complain. 1.8 from the inside, 1 degree open, 30 degrees aloft, 38 yards in the air, 50 degrees descent angle, 164. Yeah, I'm struggling to complain. And now in the fitting, it's an interesting one. I didn't really get on with this one. It's the only iron when I tested them all that for some reason I just didn't, not say like, I just didn't hit it very well. And that just goes down to the fickle nature of human beings. We are messy creatures. And so there's no difference between this really and the T. I mean, there's not like a huge, it's not like I was going from a blade to a massive game improvement on it. It wasn't like a visual shock on the senses. For some reason, it just didn't work. So it just goes to show, if you don't hit it very well in your first fitting, don't be afraid, if you really like them, to go back for a second one to see if the pattern continues. If it continues, then fair enough. But yeah, no difference and no issue now though. Bit of a weird one, but works and feels lovely. There's a little bit left. I'm really struggling to just say that this golf club isn't just lovely. 1.8 from the inside, 1.7 close, a little baby draw dynamics, just fractionally overdid it. 3mm low, 4mm toe, can't complain on the strike at all. Efficiency is 1.33, peak height 39 yards in the air, 50 degrees descent angle, 50.3. I mean, that is just working. Now, of course, I'm swinging at my normal speed, 91 or so miles an hour. And of course, it will be interesting to see what happens when you start dialing the speed down 90, 80, 70, because a lot of people don't swing at 90 miles an hour. They swing it down at the 70s. So I always like to see how well these work. When you start taking some speed away, you'll start losing peak height, some descent angle, some control. So it's interesting to see at what point, when it comes to your fittings, you should be looking at stopping your set. If the 7 iron is the most functional, or the 6 iron is your most functional iron, before you then go to a 5, if you would carry on in that same set and not go down something like a hybrid or something like that, it starts going in like a missile and then just skipping out the back. Give it another hit. I do like this one. Didn't in the fitting, but now I've got them, lovely. That's straight down the pin. Fractionally toey strike, but I mean, oh, more people should play these golf clubs, like they really should. Club path, face to path, pretty darn decent. Strike was toey, I could feel it, definitely 8mm toe, so it wasn't ideal, wasn't plumb on at all. But 37 yards in the air, 50 degrees descent angle, rounded up 49.6, even for a not optimal strike. Now people think you need to be whacking these ones straight out the middle. And yes, of course, every golf club loves you hitting them out the middle, but there's a certain amount of drop off that you get from all golf clubs. And these do really, really well considering these are players' irons. Feel really nice, they work really well. I'm just struggling to try to find a bad word to say about it. I mean, some people are going to like the looks, some people aren't going to like the looks, but from a functional performance, just does really good. Right, last one. Let's see how close I can get to the hole, but it just feels lovely. Now that's a really interesting one, because that is not middle, that is low on the face. Doesn't matter, it's just good. Well done, PXG. Club path is really good, face to path is really good, decent swinging day, I can feel that as well. That's 5mm low, that's not massively low on the face, but I can feel that. That's the great thing that you get with golf clubs like this, is you really feel the feedback that you get from where you hit it on the face. 39 yards in the air and 51 degrees descent angle, rounded up from a not ideal slightly low strike. Sometimes when you hit it low on the face, or not sometimes, near enough all the times, that you just launch it lower. You can't help it, the center of gravity doesn't work with you and you hit it lower. But that's still peaking up at 39 yards in the air and 50.6 degrees descent angle. So let's go give it a hit. A load of times all around the face, toe, low, heel, really bad strikes. Let's see what happens when you really don't hit this well. See how forgiving it is. Let's also test it 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour. And let's go see how well the PXG 0317 CB iron actually gets on. All the shots now hit with the PXG 0317CB, and I must say this, it is a much more forgiving iron than I initially gave it credit for. We'll have a look at the forgiveness in a sec. Let's go have a look and see how well it works from 3 different swing speeds. We've got 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour. We've got the clubhead data underneath on the screen, but we'll have a look at that one in a sec. You can see by the ball data at the top, the red is 70 miles an hour, the yellow is 80 miles an hour, and the blue is 90 miles an hour. We'll very quickly go to the carry distance on the 70 miles an hour. First, we've got 127 yards of carry, which is not too bad. Remember, this is a 33 degree lofted 7 irons, going 22 yards in the air, and the descending at 42 degrees. 42.1 is a really healthy descent angle. Now, commonly with 7-irons around about the 70 miles an hour, you do tend to get flights going in a little bit kind of shallow, and it is difficult to stop the golf ball. So anything over 40 degrees is absolutely lovely to see. Generally speaking, if you're going to have a descent angle under 40 degrees, 30 something, etc. like that, then you're going to be worrying massively if that ball is going to stop when it hits the putting surface. Anything over 45 degrees, 45 degrees is the magic number, and it will stop basically on any green. But this is at 42 degrees, it's doing really well. Would I go to a 6-iron? Probably not, because that will be looking very close to the 39 degrees or so. And these are decent shots, and so if you miss-hit it, then you're going to start seeing balls going a bit lower, so you're going to need a little bit of wiggle room. So I would say the 7-iron in this, 127 yards of carry for a 70-mile-an-hour golf swing, within reason. Obviously we're talking about my delivery, but effectively it will be the last one. So in a custom fit environment, you'd need to go something either that's going to help you a little bit more in launch angle, something like the P version, the 311P, that's really good at launch factor, or something like a direct long iron replacement or a hybrid of some kind of that. As soon as you go to 80 miles an hour, the yellow, we've got a carry of 150 yards, no problem with distance there, peaking up at 30 yards, and of course descent angles at 47 degrees. So 47 degrees, yes, you can absolutely have a conversation with a 6-iron, no problem whatsoever, maybe even 5. And the good thing with the 5-iron, that's going to be carrying in and around the 175 or so yards at that point, and that's absolutely a great idea at that point to go to a hybrid or a direct long iron replacement, or even a very high lofted fairway wood, depending on which one you like the best. Would you go further than that past your 5-iron? No, because you're going to get to a point of where, again, that golf ball is going to go into that green at an interesting angle and have literally no chance of stopping, and you're going to have to pitch it before the green to give it a chance of stopping. The problem is, you do that, course designers put bunkers and bits and pieces in the way to stop people doing that. If you go to the full-on 90 miles an hour, the blue, carry distance 166 yards, peaking up at 39 yards in the air, and 51 degrees descent angle. Yes, absolutely. Of course, you talk with speed. As soon as you add speed, you add functionality. That's just natural. If you look at the launch angle, you've got 29.9, 21.8, 21.5. Doesn't really change, and it won't do, because unless I change my club head dynamics, of which we'll look in a sec, there's no difference in launcher whatsoever. You can see the spin rate changes from 4.7 to 5.2 to 6.2. Obviously, the faster you go, the more spin you're going to create. Let's have a look at the club head data. We've got 70.4, 80.3 and 90.6, so there's 0.3 of a mile an hour between all the 10 mile an hour data sets, so no difference whatsoever. Efficiency is 133, 133, 132. Efficiency is a measure of bang for your buck. How much ball speed do you get for all your club head speed? Attack angles within 0.4 of a degree, club paths within 0.7, face to paths within about a degree or so, not too bad, 1.4 degrees. But the all important loft, 29.7, 29.4, 29.7, there's 0.3 of a degree of loft, so nothing. And as you can see, you've got my strike on there for you to see if you want to, and it's basically on top of each other. If you want to have a look at the ball and club compare screen, you can do. That's just a visual representation, a graphical representation of the information, the tabular data that we've just been discussing. And some people just see that and instantly understand it better, and they just see reams and reams of information. So let's go see how well this gets on from forgiveness side of things, because I started the numbers side of the video saying how surprising this golf club is. And it is. If you see what happens when you whack it out of the middle, we've got one here, 88.4 miles an hour, efficiency is 1.34, very similar to what we saw from the averages, or just slightly more because it is the peak. Club half's 2.2 from the inside, and face is 0.3 closed, so a little baby draw dynamics as such, but it's tiny. Loft to 29.7 and a 1 mil low, 1 mil toe, so within a millimetre or so, bang on. 39 yards in the air and nearly 51 degrees descent angle, just working really well. So that's what happens when you hit it out of the middle. So what happens when you don't hit it out the middle? You hit it out slightly toey, slightly low, slightly heely. How much drop off do you get? So we go over to the heat map, and effectively you can see how many percentage drop off do you get of your efficiency, your ball speed, as you start moving away from middle. So on the screen you can see the heat map. You've got at the top there, you've got from 0 to minus 22 and from plus 22 on the left hand side. We are looking at the golf club like it's looking right at you. So the left hand side is the toe, the right hand side is the heel, and of course you've got high and also low on the face as well. That blue line very quickly is the turf interaction line. If you hit that above that line, if you hit the golf ball basically above that line, you are going to be starting to interact with the ground first. Now, on a tee, you can get away with it. Yes, you will do, but generally speaking, when the golf ball's on the floor, which it most of the time is with an iron, and you hit 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 millimeters high on the face, you are hitting the ground first, and the ground will take a far more big chunk of your club head speed than you have to worry in any way about the efficiency drop off. Generally speaking, you will get cushioning because there'll be a layer of dirt between that and the golf ball, and so it won't go very, very far. The green is big. It's quite a big lump. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest of all of the PXG irons that I've tested so far. And this is the player's cavity. This is not supposed to be forgiving. But there is a pattern. The more I do this, and I've got 40 odd golf clubs now within the database that I've got for my YouTube members to see when they want to compare different golf clubs, all the current ones that I've tested. You can see from a pattern of just how well the player's cavity sector of irons do. What does that look like when you put it on a golf club? So if we put it on the golf club there, you can see just how well it works. There is a big blob of green there, and it is much bigger than initially I would have given it credit for. The graphic on the screen, you have a situation there, you've got 155 yards, a green, forced carry. We got this over water, it's an imaginary hole, but there are plenty of situations when you play golf that you're going to have this kind of idea, whether it be over water or whether it be the fact you've got a bunker before the green or anything else like that. You are going to have situations such as this. And so it's really interesting and handy to know how your golf club is going to perform, especially if you know your mishit. Because every golfer has a mishit, whether it's out the toe, whether it's out the heel, or whether it's low, or just sprayed everywhere. So there are definitely golf clubs out there that people can choose and use, which very much so massage their miss. That's the whole idea of doing this. You can actually choose the right kind of golf club for your miss point. And you can see by the two tables, you've got the top there is in shot distance in yards and the bottom one's in meters. For obviously different people measure holes from different bites, if you're USA or UK or Europe or anything else like that, we all do things slightly differently. And then the top one, you've got, let's say 155 yards, which this is. And let's say you lose 3%, you've got a 14 foot putt. And no different to if you have an iron which is quite poor at forgiveness and you drop down to 10% at 155 yards, that's now a 47 foot putt. And you can see by the graphic, when you go from green to yellow to orange to red, if you're starting to get into the reds, you are now going to get to a point where you are not going to make the carry and you are going to be in the drink. That's why it's extremely important you make sure that you get a golf club which suits your requirements. Conclusion on the PXG 0317CB. Really surprised. Let's go by looks and feel. Looks first, is it my favourite one? I don't really like the cavity back look. I don't like the primer to weighting look. Some people see that as confidence inspiring looks, etc. I don't really like it. I'm a blade player, so I actually prefer the T model, which is their player's distance model. I've just done that one, or the full-on blade, the ST. Like that one, no problem with it. This one, yeah, for me. Feel, lovely. The T model is nice, don't get me wrong, the T model is nice. This one just feels like a blade does, effectively. I mean, I'm going to be doing the ST straight after this, and I don't think there's going to be much difference, if any, between this and the ST. When it comes to performance, it's basically a player's cavity iron with a good amount of loft, 33 degrees. It just does every single thing that you'd expect a 33 degree lofted 7 iron to do, and works really well obviously at slow swing speeds as well. It's functional into a green for a 7 iron, which not many golf clubs are, especially as you start going into the game improvement and players distance side of things. And when it comes to forgiveness, it has to be the best of all of the PXG irons so far. Now, the longer and more I do this, I mean, the information you got up on here is straight off from the YouTube members compare file. It really shows just how good that these players' cavity and the players' side sectors are. Game improvement irons are supposed to be the most forgiving, and there are on the list, there are actually some of the most forgiving irons are actually game improvement irons. But it's surprisingly common it is to see a player's cavity iron well up there when it comes to forgiveness. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go and hit the like button, give it a thumbs up. YouTube likes, so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It's free. It is great for the channel if you could subscribe, so thank you. And next to that one is a bell icon, that's a notification bell. If you click that one will let you know next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.